Today, Filipinos celebrate their Independence Day while marking their nearly third month on lockdown. The quarantine has affected not just people's physical health, but also the national economy. National Police has reported nearly 4,000 cases as well of violence against women and children. And online sexual exploitation of children has more than tripled during this pandemic. What other untold problems are being endured by the most vulnerable Filipinos? And what can we all do to be aware and to save each other? We discuss in this episode of The Chiefs. Welcome to the special edition of The Chiefs. And of course, with us right now are Ana Marie Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, and Robbie Alampay of One News, who I think came from UP Diliman earlier.
No, maligayang araw ng kalayaan sa ating lahat. Happy Independence Day po sa ating lahat, sa mga nanonood.
Isang makabuluhang araw ng kalayaan sa ating lahat.
And TGIF again.
Oh, but tama ka, Ed. I was there kanina sa UP Diliman. Ako nakapasok ako. But it took some doing, parang coordinating with a lot of people who went there earlier, because I can confirm that a lot of entrances were may mga checkpoint, and some people were telling me outright blocked yung ibang mga tao.
Actually, curious ako, paano ka nakapasok? Kasi hinarangan lahat ng gate
Yung gate sa tapat ng iglesia, yung tinatawag na
yung sa may ROTC.
Yes, sa may ROTC. Yon, bukas yon. If you go past the gate of the Commission on Human Rights,
they forgot to close it off?
Ang balita ko is at some point in the morning, the officials of Diliman, of the campus, allowed it to open. I don't have that on official word. That was relayed to me by faculty members of the University of the Philippines na bukas yung gate sa Ilanan. So yun yung pinasok ko. But that was only after a certain time, nearing the 10 o'clock official start of the program.
Kasi parang normally ata sinasara nila yung Ilanan Gate dahil it's one less entrance that they have to guard on ordinary days.
Usually dyan yung kotse mo hihinga ng sticker. Usually hanapan ng sticker yan or hanapan ka ng student or alumnus ID.
So ano sabi mo estudyante ka?
Hindi, may alumni ID ka.
Ami, anong big story bukas? What's in store what's your banner story tomorrow?
May inaabangan namin yung, it's a Friday and we're expecting an announcement on Monday. Kaya lang mukhang gusto ng mga members ng IATF, wag munang mag-relax ng restriction because nga, ang sabi ni Secretary DILG Anyo hindi pa naman daw bumababa yung cases ng COVID in Metro Manila and the GCQ areas.
And Cebu.
So, baka mag-extend until siguro end of the month, another 2 weeks. So, yun ang naasahan natin. Bayan ng bayan.
I was surprised kanina. Kanina medyo malugan traffic and then I remembered it's a holiday today.
Holiday ngayon holiday.
Kaya nga we're back pala to holiday traffic na. Kasi for the longest time it was parang 2.5 months of enforced holiday
Long weekend ngayon long weekend.
Oh,
Mm, mm.
after 3 months of weekends.
So for all you
But
know, yeah.
speaking of the University of the Philippines, tsaka speaking of speculations or discussions as to whether or not mag-i-ease na talaga yung GCQ. Now, remember that a group of UP professors and their studies were spot on
Oh,
Yeah.
in practically predicting kung nasa na tayo ngayon. That same group is also pointing out that yung tinatawag na R naught hindi pa rin bumababa, di ba? So they're
yun na nga.
now predicting. So I think those are the kinds of insights that is fueling these discussions
Yes.
as to whether or not government is going to further relax or keep things as is, or in fact, if not, there are speculations kung babalik tayo to an even stricter regime.
Yeah.
But
Ang
in
problema,
which case, yung the online businesses will have a longer lease in life, I suppose. At least
tama.
until they have to, at least until they have to start registering with the BIR by July
Mm.
31.
Ang
Mm.
hinihingi naman ni Joey Salceda, i-exempt daw nga yung maliliit na micro, yung mga
Mm.
micro entrepreneurs. No?
Mm.
So, nakikinig naman ng Malacanang kay Congressman
Joey,
Salceda.
mm.
So baka naman matuloy yun.
Yeah, and also the train law naman kasi provides for exemption.
Yeah.
If you
Yes.
earn below 250, if I remember right, 250K
Yeah.
every year. But anyway,
Yeah.
since we're talking about that already, about online taxation, that, let's bring in our guest na rin. Our guest for tonight is Senator Risa Hontiveros. She is, of course, the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Women, Children, and Family Relations. Ma'am Senator, thank you for joining us and welcome to the Chiefs.
Good evening
Thank you
po.
for inviting
Good
me.
evening.
Oh, magandang gabi rin po, Ami.
Yeah.
Magandang
Magandang
gabi po.
Robbie and
Yes.
If you don't mind po, I'll start off with yung napag-uusapan in the past few days kasi you called out the BIR, or at least the national government, for being so eager to start taxing online businesses that have sprouted up, especially in the wake of the pandemic and the need for people to go online. So you called them out and said na but hindi prioritize yung POGO collection, tax collection.
Yes.
Pero ma'am, my question to you is this to be fair to the BIR and to the national government, shouldn't the BIR really go after everybody who earns a living, at least within a minimum standard, anybody who collects revenues or collects profits? I mean, shouldn't online people also be part of the collection?
Of course, but again, lalo na panahon ngayon ng pandemic at saka quarantine, I think the matter of timing and prioritization will really make a difference to how people can survive this double crisis. Marami kasi sa mga online sellers ngayon ay mga bago din sa online selling, maaring dahil nawalan sila ng trabaho o yung kanilang dating maliit na negosyo, and they've migrated online to online selling in order to make a little more money para itawid yung kanilang mga pamilya or kahit yung maliit na enterprise nila, ilang mga empleyado nila, sa terribleng economic suffering din that the necessary quarantine has entailed. Kaya kung sinabi sa BIR, kung naghahanap pa tayo ng revenues, unahin na yung klarong identified nila mismo, no? Na 50 billion pesos and counting owed us just by the legal POGOs. And then in the meantime, look at how the BIR can assist both online sellers and buyers. For example, regarding emerging problems like fraud. Tapos meron palang phenomenon ngayon na ang tawag ay joy dibbing, which is the ordering of products online with no real intention to buy them. So
Nangaasar.
napepermisyon naman or na-disadvantage. Di ko alam what's behind that. No? Pang-aasar lang ba yun? At kung pang-aasar din lamang, but I can imagine it would cost the small online sellers.
Yeah.
So, we need to look at this in the context of coming up with a progressive taxation system.
Yes.
Over
I mean, yeah, Senator, you mentioned context. I'd like you to I'd like to invite you to further talk about the context because as Ed says, matagal na namang nakasalang to. But at the same time, we all know na nung pinag-isipan to, nung naisalang to, and it was discussed, let's say even as responsibly as they could. That was all done before COVID. And
Exactly.
those are all done before people started really having no choice but to try to do what they can, get online if they could. What has changed in those contexts? What has happened over the past 3 months that is important context that you think should give us pause before we just dive straight into this?
Well, as you mentioned, Robbie, although in fairness to the BIR, they had begun considering and preparing for this before, that was, kumbaga, BC, before COVID. And now that we've been under the pandemic and the necessary quarantines for several months, that has taken an enormous toll on the economy, especially on the micro, small, and medium stakeholders in the economy. The protocols have really made it that much more difficult for them to offer their supply to the public, which has also had, on our end, difficulty exercising our demand because of the quarantine protocols. At mas marami sa ating mga kababayan na mahihirap na dati ay lalong nahirapan kumonte ang buying power dahil nga sa quarantine. So hirap na hirap hanggang sa ngayon ang karamihan makapasok sa trabaho, makolekta ang arawang sahod o sweldo. So that is also why enterprises which relied a lot on pedestrian traffic, restaurants, even sari-sari stores, these kinds of establishments, a lot have really migrated online just to keep in touch with their
Mm,
former market, with their former
mm,
customer base. At talagang maraming ang online ang naiwang bukas na daluyan para sa kanila.
mm,
So sana i-consider iyan ng BIR. And yun na nga, as we were talking about earlier, meron pa namang 50 billion pesos na sila mismo ang nagsabing owed to us, to the Republic, at pwede nilang unang kolektahin bago nila kolektahin sa mga small online sellers. Siguro isaayos na lang nila yon pag medyo humupa na yung pandemic at lalong kapag medyo lumuwag na yung mga quarantines at mas makabalik na sa mga dating paraan ng pagnenegosyo, lalo na yung ating mga MSMEs.
Well, Senator, meron din namang nagsasabi na yung consumer also need protection kaya gusto daw i-register ng BIR, and there seems to be a growing sentiment now na i-exempt yung micro nga. And in fact, Congressman Joey Salceda said, dapat daw yung mga enterprises na mga capitalization, mga 3 million up to 3 million, i-exempt. Kung kayo yung tatanungin, ano yung cut-off ninyo kung sakaling matuloy nga to?
Well, I think, Ms. Ami, that would be a fair floor. At gaya ng pinag-uusapan nyo kasi kanina, meron namang ganyang similar provisions kahit sa train law na nag-ooperate na sa ngayon. So if we use that as a standard, pwede din i-apply dun sa mga small or smaller online sellers na pwedeng i-exempt. Baka ang hingiin na lang ng BIR sa kanila ay magrehistro pero maging tax exempt na rin sila, especially during this quarantine. And I think they would welcome very much kung pwedeng maging permanent feature yon ng pagpaparehistro pero tax exemption sa kanila. While at the same time, of course, looking out for the rights and welfare of buyers. So, pwedeng tignan pareho yan ng Department of Trade and Industry. Protection for both buyers and sellers sa online selling scene, lalo na ngayon.
The
Apart
50
from,
billion you're referring to is, I think, taxes owed, di ba, to the Philippine government.
Yes,
But there's
just
the
like
other
the
thing that,
recent proposal.
but there's another thing that came up in a previous Senate hearing around March, I think, where the BIR told the Senate that of the 11 licensed POGOs, only 3 are actually paying the license fees, the 5% license fees. 8 of the 11 refused to pay the license fees dahil daw they're offshore gaming, so they should be outside Philippine jurisdiction. I don't know if that's ever been resolved since that March hearing in the Senate. Kasi kumbaga pati yung license fees mukhang hindi na babayaran.
Unresolved pa rin actually, because the pandemic and the quarantine also suspended in large part yung mga ongoing Senate committee inquiries. So imagine kung tatlo lang sa 11 ang nagbabayad and would account for the 50 billion pesos unpaid taxes, one-fourth lang yon sa kanila. So we could imagine na magkano ba 200 billion pesos ba talaga actually and counting ang utang? At yun ay ng mga legal pogos pa lang. What about the illegal ones? What about those that did not even bother to get a permit from PAGCOR? So kita natin na higit sa mga maliliit na online sellers, malamang sa hindi, or obviously, ang mas malaking may pagkakautang sa BIR are these POGOs, the legal POGOs alone.
Ma'am, what officially has been the response of the BIR to these proposals?
Nothing yet.
Hmm.
No official response yet. So I'm waiting, and more than me, I'm sure the small online sellers are waiting. Several of them have been messaging me, even from outside Metro Manila, different regions, saying they're really up in arms about, they're trying to survive. They're trying to survive as small business persons and small enterprises during the pandemic quarantines in legal ways. Kaya hindi nila maintindihan, but uunahin pa sila ng BIR bago sa malalang tax evaders.
Yeah, but I meant to ask precisely as well in the context of your push na unahin nyo ang POGOs. What officially has been the response of the BIR with regards to the POGOs?
I haven't seen any concrete action either to actually collect from even just those 3 POGOs. I mean, they even went further by citing that there are 8 others who haven't even bothered to start paying. But there has been no action to actually send a bill or whatever is a proper document to those 3 to collect the 50 billion. At hindi maliit na halaga yon. The 50 billion pesos could go a long way to further finance government's COVID-19 response war chest. So I don't know what they're dragging their feet about.
Senator, the BIR said yung micro enterprises, online sellers, will no longer be required to get business permits from LGUs. And then you're proposing tax exemptions. Apart from this, most of these are home-based, no? What do you think can be done to? In fact, we can encourage the growth of this informal sector. What do you think can be done to assist them to make them grow their business?
I think if and when the DTI begins that study about how to protect the rights and welfare of both buyers and sellers online, pwede siyang magbukas ng mas malawak na diskusyon talaga, precisely leading to that broader question you mentioned, Miss Amy. Paano itong online selling scene ay pwedeng maging bahagi ng stimulus sa ekonomiya natin, which has suffered a lot of wounds during this pandemic and the quarantines, how these micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, which are doing part or all of their business online, can be supported during the still longer period we're looking at in terms of repairing the economy. Can these MSMEs, including those working online, can they be provided the same legal protections that are given to large companies when they have gone into debt? Protection so that banks to which they owe loans will not immediately take them over or take over their assets, but look to give them some kind of leeway to sustaining their business. Sana yung ganyang, and pinanawagan ko na rin ito sa DTI, pag-aralan paano itong mga existing legal protections for large companies can also be given to MSMEs, including those doing business online, lalo na during the stimulus period for the economy, the next several years that we'll be having to work on repairing the business scene here in the Philippines.
Senator, if you don't mind, you are chair of the Senate Committee on Women, Children, and Family Relations. We'd also try to take advantage of your presence to ask you about something very troubling that the PNP is reporting, and a lot of NGOs are also observing. Tumataas ang domestic violence, tumataas ang violence against women and children in their own homes, complicated, aggravated by the fact that the lockdown is preventing them from going outside, apart from the changing dynamics inside the home. Are you looking into this, and what can be done to protect our families?
Ay nako, Robbie, there's so much that should and indeed can be done to better protect, excuse me, better protect our families, especially our women and our children, especially now that the long-standing issues of domestic violence, of online sexual exploitation of children, and other forms of violations against women and children are further exacerbated by the pandemic. So that double pressure of having to cope with and survive a health crisis, and yes, a triple pressure exerted by the quarantines. The quarantines are meant to health by as possible, keeping us indoors and away from possible contagion by COVID-19. Pero ironically, the quarantine has also kept women and children who've already been suffering violence and then online sexual exploitation trapped inside their homes with the ones who are visiting this violence on them. So women have been suffering domestic violence at the hands of their spouses or their common law partners, and children, as Ed you mentioned earlier, have suffered a tripling in the online sexual exploitation of children just in the last 3 years, according to the study of the International Justice Mission. At sabi din ng IJM, tragically talaga, no, heartbreakingly, 40% of the perpetrators of OSEC, online sexual exploitation against children, ay mismong mga miyembro ng pamilya nila o mga kasama nila sa bahay. So there is so much we must do. Existing laws already give us some very good instruments. Sa Magna Carta of Women, ang bawat barangay dapat may violence against women o vow desk. At doon dapat, kung makalabas ng bahay, ang kapwa babae natin, Ms. Ami, kung makasakay siya ng public transport kahit quarantine, kung makarating siya sa barangay, dapat may vow desk, and hopefully there are personnel at the desk and who have been trained, who are gender sensitive enough and responsive in concrete ways to be able to assist her. Sa OSEC, ang dami rin nating kailangang gawing trabaho. We have to crack down both on the buyers and the sellers of these online of these OSEC materials about children. Kailangan gawin nating accountable din yung mga social media apps and platforms. Imagine these groups of buyers and sellers of OSEC are contacting each other on Facebook, on Twitter. They are transacting on Telegram and reportedly even WhatsApp. So we are
Senator, yan ang problema kasi even before the lockdowns, may problema na
Yes.
sa enforcement, and there were proposals nga to pass a new law on OSEC nga specifically. Sa ngayon, mukhang magtatagal pa itong mga quarantine natin eh. What can be done? Mas lalong humirap actually to enforce the law and to assist all these people. At because of the paghihirap ng mga tao, yun na nga, tumaas yung sexual exploitation of children. In the meantime, ano kaya ang pwedeng gawin ng mga tao? Alimbawa ko, kapitbahay, what can we do? What can the public do?
We, members of the public, can report to our law enforcement authorities. Hindi naman naka-quarantine ang tungkulin ng National Bureau of Investigation at saka ng PNP Cybercrime Group. They are still supposed to be working and not only going after critics of the government on Facebook, pero sana mas iprioridad din nila itong mga nambibiktima sa ating mga bata, sa ating mga anak sa pamamagitan ng OSEC. They too can help get in touch with and make accountable those social media platforms kasi sila ang nakakaalam sa mga pasikot-sikot ng teknolohiya ng kanilang apps at platforms. And also, we need to have our law enforcement authorities work with child rights advocates to make yung mga daluyan ng pera, yung bilihan at bayaran para sa OSEC accountable. So I'm talking about our money transferring platforms, yung mga bangko din natin at iba pang dinadaanan nitong napaka-terribleng negosyong ito.
Okay, ma'am. Before we let you go, is she there? Yeah.
Yes,
Before
I'm
we let
here.
you go, can I ask you another question that's related to that? Now, there's a fear of a population surge of sorts as a result of the quarantine and the pandemic. In part also because of it's so hard to access RH services, among other things, and family planning services during the pandemic.
Oo.
On the ground, what have you heard about these aspects of reproductive health and family planning? Are people able to access in the last 2.5 months or 3 months?
Hirap. If before it was already a challenge dahil hindi pa talaga ganap at hindi pa talaga 100% mahusay yung pagpapatupad natin sa responsible parenthood and reproductive health law, lalong mahirap ngayon. As you mentioned, under pandemic quarantine conditions, lalong mahirap maka-access halimbawa ng mga family planning products tulad ng contraceptives. So kailangan muli mag-go the extra mile ang gobyerno para iparating ang mga basic supplies, basic needs na ito. People are really worried. Yung mga RH advocates and practitioners and service providers are really worried and are sounding the alarm that the public should be worried about an upsurge in unplanned pregnancies, especially among poor and young women. So sana hindi lang yung national government pati yung ating mga local government units tulad ng ipinapakita na halimbawa ng Taguig City at ng ibang mga LGUs ay sana pwede kasing sila na ang mag-deliver ng mga family planning supplies na ito dun sa mga households at mga barangay na hirap mag-access dahil sa quarantines.
Okay, before we go into a gap, pasalamat muna natin si Senadora Risa Hontiveros for joining us tonight. Ma'am, maraming salamat po, Senadora.
Thank you po.
And we hope to see you again.
Salamat po.
Yes po. Stay healthy.
Okay.
We will just go into a break, so please stay with us.
Welcome back to the Chiefs. We are now in the final stage of our conversation. And now joining us are Rody Vera and Nikki Garde-Torres of Virgin Labfest. Good evening po.
Good evening din po sa
Yes.
inyo.
Okay, just to
Evening.
good evening po. The 2020 edition of Virgin
Hi.
Labfest will see plays streamed live online for free for the premieres this June.
Yes.
At the official social media sites of the Cultural Center of the Philippines, and Mr. Vera is the founder of Labfest, while Ms. Torres is the production manager. Kumustahin po natin, ma'am, we're with Robbie Alampay of One News, and nasa na yung isa natin? Eting
Ayun.
Ayan na.
Ayun, na-quarantine ako.
Kung kumustahin mo namin, kumusta po yung ano natin, yung sector ng place. How is
Theater.
it going this pandemic? I know you're going virtual, pero paano po sitwasyon ngayon for the past 3 months?
It's sige, ikaw, Nikki. It's terrible. It's really, really terrible.
Okay.
Siguro marami nang nakakaalam na probably the sector, no, yung live entertainment especially, is one of the hardest hit sectors.
Yes.
Kasi talagang tigil trabaho. At ang pinakamalungkot dito, hindi naman kami karamihan o marami sa amin hindi mga empleyado, no, kung hindi freelancers. So yung
yeah.
iba mas masakit doon yung arawan. Ibig sabihin pag sumisweldo lamang sila kapag merong show or kapag no. At I'm not only talking of the artists, the actors. Siguro the actors mas sila yung nakikita ninyo. Pero yung mga stagehands, yung mga crew, yung the people backstage who really live off every day, kapag may show, tsaka lang sila kumikita. Yun yung pinaka-masakit na unang buwan pa lang ng lockdown. Talagang bagsak, no? May mga kaibigan kaming kailangang tinutulungan namin kasi ang hirap dahil talagang hanggang sa level na wala na makain sa araw na yon or day to day na lang makakakuha ng donation, kung ano na lang yung donation, yun na lang kakapitan niya. So talagang ang hirap at hindi namin alam kung hanggang kailan kasi mukhang ang live entertainment sector ang pinakahuling magbubukas.
Yeah, oo nga Pero but now you're going virtual. Paano yun? Maybe you can tell us, Ma'am Nikki, about it. Paano gagawin yun?
Well, kasi we're very lucky because we have the Labfest is a tripartite thing with Rody's organization, the Writers Block, Tanghalang Pilipino, and the Cultural Center. So immediately, I think early on around February, when we kind of knew that something was going on, CCP management strongly supported us and urged us to find other ways to do the Labfest. And after a lot of discussion, nag-decide kami na gawin namin online. Kaya lang syempre, ang reality niyan is ang training namin in theater is for live performances. So it was very different yung buong team namin because one of our concerns was we put together annually a team of freelancers and we didn't want them to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
So everyone has been undergoing a different kind of training, and we're quite proud to say now almost we were able to retain almost the entire team for the online version of the Labfest. So it's the first time in theater kasi normally, di ba, you're on stage, everyone is there.
Pero Ma'am Nikki, how will this change your production? I suppose
the
kasi
actors are
how will it change your production? Kasi, di ba, it's an entirely different thing when you perform in front of a live audience. It's another thing when you perform for a small cell phone or for an iPad, di ba? Medyo iba yung dynamics nun, tsaka iba rin yung immersive quality ng dalawa eh. I mean, how does that change your the way you do things?
It has changed it quite a lot, but what we insisted on was to have at least 2 live performances, which means that you will have if you have a cast of 5, they are all in their own homes, performing with a computer in front of them.
Oh
So
yeah,
even for the
I
Mm.
forgot
actors,
about
it
that.
was a whole new skill to interact with a screen.
I forgot
But
about that.
it's
Even
been
the
a
Mm.
performers
challenge. It's
are
been a
online
major
pala.
challenge, and
Mm.
everyone is online.
I forgot about
But
that.
the nice thing about it is that for the first time, we are able to have actors from all the way in the USA. We have
Mm.
actors because it doesn't matter where they're from now. We're all
Mm.
online anyway. So
That's
good things have
interesting.
come out of it. New
At saka,
skills have been
nung,
developed, and
nung, nung plinano namin ito, I was imagining just a table performance. Ibig sabihin, one actor has one frame, the other
ayo.
actor has another frame, tapos mag-uusap lang sila. But then
Mm.
when we threw it to the artistic team, ngayon nag-uumpisa na ang Virgin Labfest, no? We started June 10. I was so overwhelmed with so many ways that they were doing it. No,
Mm.
merong gumawa ng animation, merong gumawa ng film quality, merong nag-record, and then they juxtapose it with live. So
Mm.
the whole feeling pagka nilabas nila on that live performance, talagang nakaka-tense kasi baka mamaya magkamali, pero at the same time nakaka-excite kasi
Galing.
yung pag-merge nila ng iba-ibang
Mm.
mga elements just using Zoom and another extension app like OBS. They were
Mm.
able to do so many different magical things that you wouldn't normally see it on a live stage performance.
So
Yeah.
you're saying it's performed live. Is it taped as live, or is it actually streamed live? And do people actually have to catch it live, or does it is it ultimately then served up as video on demand?
There are two no there are two live shows,
It
yung
is
premiere
Mm.
at saka yung closing ng festival, pero
Mm.
in
Mm.
between the recorded performance will be on Vimeo and on demand. Pero yung
Mm.
first live at saka yung second live talaga yon. So maski yung reaction ng audience, simultaneous. Nakakatuwa nga kasi
Mm.
first time sa amin, kasi sa entablado, pag nagpa-perform ka, tahimik ang audience. Pero ditong ingay nila sa chat.
Mm.
Kasi
Pero
every
ito,
turn
ay,
of the story.
Rody, Nikki, this places technology right at the center of
Mm.
your production. How confident are you? What if something goes wrong with the internet connection, for
Yun
example?
lang.
Wow.
Well, we have learned to embrace it.
Some things do go wrong. Kaya nga kapit eh. That's why we call it
Kapit,
kapit talaga. So we try. We have our recordings on standby para kung masyadong matagal na nag-freeze, then we can
Mm.
always put that in. But so far, out of 3 days, we have never needed to use it. Tapos, as you can imagine, hindi malaki ang budget, but
Mm.
we invested in broadbands. And then we
Mm.
identified actors na sino ba ang pinakamahina ang Wi-Fi signal. So it's a whole new set of really interesting issues. And
Yeah.
then, ang hirap din kasi for the actors, normally actors, diba, they're assisted by stage managers, by costume
Mm.
people, everything. Now they're home alone. So yung mga lighting
Mm.
designers namin, they will say, kunin mo yung lamp mo, iharap mo sa mukha mo. These are our realities. But
Mm.
Is this the, is the
Now, on the
reason,
other hand,
we
yung ba yung
now, on the,
explanation for the team, yung kapit, that's a very nice team, kapit, lab in the time of COVID. Yung ba yung ano explanation nun, yung team? That's part
Oh,
of the reason ba?
nakakatuwa ka, Kap.
Yung
Pag
kapit?
nakita mo, pag nagpa-perform ng
hindi
live,
kasi
yung mga
kasi ni
tao,
Rody, urok
Oo.
yan dati.
It's actually looking like a new art form,
Urok
ano?
yan dati.
mm.
Tapos nung dumating yung COVID,
kapit.
it
Mm.
is. It really is. I mean, you
At saka
cannot
ginagamit siya
define it
ng
as
mga tao ngayon.
kapit
Ginagamit na
talaga.
siya ng mga tao pag nanonood sila, tapos biglang tumigil yung internet, makikita mo sa chat, comment, kapit, kapit, kapit.
Kapit!
Now, on the other hand, Rody, kaya nga nasabi ni Ami, it's in a way a new art form. I don't know kung meron tayong peg abroad, if this has been done, or if it's a totally new experiment that you're pioneering. But it also ultimately redounds to potentially a new audience. When we talk about cell phones, we're now talking about kids, young people watching on their cell phones. Talk about the potential as well to bring live performances and this genre of entertainment to a new audience as an opportunity.
It
Totoo yun.
presents many opportunities
Yes.
because ang bahay natin, Rody, sa CCP, ang capacity natin is only like 350 per show.
So,
On our first show, we hit over 9,000 with over 200 shares.
Wow.
So that was just because we're streaming on the CCP Facebook page, the Virgin Labfest Facebook page and Vimeo. So yung over 9,000 na yun, sa iisang site lang yun. So it does increase our audience, and it because I do understand that minsan it's really hard to travel to the CCP with traffic and all of that. So suddenly everyone is there. It's great.
Siguro we can try because I'm really interested in this. Siguro meron kayong music video. We can try playing it to give us more of an idea of the possibilities. It's really an exciting way of presenting art. Maybe we can watch the music video.
Metro Manila Online, New York Online, Canada Online, Austin Online. Okay. Di makalapas sa dating mundo, di makaangkas papunta sa'yo. Hawak-hawak ka sa telepono, nag-iisip at tatanong hanggang kailan to. Kailan muli magpapakita ang paggalaw? Mga istoryang sa papel ay sumisigaw. At kung ito man ngayon ang baraha ko, at ang lumaban at sumugal kung kasama mo. Tara dito, hindi hinto mga kwento mo. Mula sa pagbuo hanggang baklas, ay kakabi, tuloy ang malapas. Kahit maibig hanggang may paso, may silid bubong sa imahinasyon kakapit. Buksan ang telon mula hapon, kapit puso. Hanggang ngayon, kapit puso. Kanya-kanya man.
Fantastic.
Ganda.
You will be reaching a really broader and younger audience. Anong inspiration niyo doon? Meron bang ano doon? Meron bang samples elsewhere na that gave you the inspiration to do that thing?
Actually, nung plinano namin ito, yun na nga, no, hindi namin alam yung possibilities pa, but we were really open, and we were open to fail, which is the principle of Virgin Labfest anyway. No, you can fail, but if you fail, you fail.
Siguro first of all,
you.
that song is a gift to us, di ba?
Pero on other theater companies, even abroad, are doing it. There was one in New York. They did it, and it was fantastic. But it was very simple. Pero ito, nagulat kami kasi yung mga directors may kanya-kanya silang paraan, no, para to get out of the box, literally out of the box of Zoom and all of that. Kaya pag pinanood mo, may halong animation kasi nag-create sila ng background. Kaya pag nakita mo, parang magkatabi lang yung dalawang actors, pero totoo hindi naman. Parang gano'n. So, ang daming mga possibilities na na-explore.
Pero Sir Rody and Ma'am Nikki, sooner or later you have to think in terms of kahit pa paano a return of investment para at least for sustainability's sake. Kasi people have to kahit pa paano get paid, di ba? And production costs have to be met. How do you intend to go about this? Is there a model already? Is there some sort of a scheme that you already have in mind to make this sustainable?
Okay.
Well,
Paano po i-monetize?
ang dalawang bagay na ginawa ng Virgin Labfest ngayon. First, there are
Well, the
donation
Virgin
channels.
Labfest has survived for This is our 16th year, no? In our first year,
Sige lang. Sino gusto
Okay,
mauna?
we'll wait for Nikki. Wait for Nikki.
Ganyan yung Virgin Lab. Okay. Sige, Mr. Vera, siguro, how do you monetize this effort?
We're doing two things. Number one, we have donation channels.
okay.
Ibig sabihin,
Oo.
every time
Kasi nga
na lumalabas
virgin
yung show, lalabas yun. You can donate there. And pagka sa Vimeo, pero sa Vimeo on demand, kung ayaw mong mapanood o hindi mo mapanood yung live, you will see the recorded version. Then doon may paywall, no, sa Vimeo. And it's very cheap. It's just 100 pesos and you get to see all the plays. No? Kasi parang naisip naman namin, parang ang hirap naman kung mananaga ka pa ng at this time, no? Ibig sabihin, we also want to reach out, no, to people, etc. But at a very low cost. At the same time, matutuwa sila. Pero kahit na maliit lang yun, maraming mapupuntahan yun eh. Even sa donation channels and that.
Yeah. I guess, Rody, the reality here is that, right now, tayo lahat nagbibigayan muna, tayo lahat also understand that it's an abnormal time both for the producers as well as for the audience. But looking ahead, beyond COVID, beyond GCQ, ano yung nakikita nyo sa nga tinatawag na new normal? When theaters start to open, when alam natin, medyo malayo-layo pa yung sector nyo. But that day will come. When it happens, what do you anticipate? What do you dread? And what are you excited about in the new normal?
Hintayin ko si Nikki. Nikki, ikaw na sa pag-on.
Ayan, medyo delay lang naman siya. Medyo delay. Okay.
Because CCP is closed until December, right, Nikki?
Yeah. Ma'am Nikki, did you
Ako naman. Ako hindi, I don't know. No, next year, because, but slowly kasi through the years, the first year of Labfest lagang hindi kumita. But we have built an audience and we have a very loyal audience, and last year our profit, we actually almost broke even. No, we have been steadily gaining ground in terms of profitability and return on investment of all of that. The thing about the Virgin Labfest is that it is strongly supported by the Cultural Center, which is a government institution. So napakalaki bagay nun. Kasi we can survive. We would love to make a profit, but since our objectives with the Labfest are clear, this year we can wait for that, but next year and build an audience in an unexpected manner. But next year we go back to the theater. We hope stronger than ever. And then maniningil kami the way we always used to. Na actually hindi naman talaga ever mahal ang Labfest to begin with. Kasi we're asking the audience to take a chance on virgin plays, untried and tested.
Yeah. Well, this weekend to, no, yung papaano turuan ang babae humawak ng baril. Saka yung isa, yung yung isa, yung pilot episode. Maybe you can tell us about it so people can watch out for it. Mr. Vera or Nikki.
Sige. Yung isang play, just to put the context to it, the Virgin Labfest, kaya tinawag naming Virgin Labfest because untried, untested, unstaged previously plays. No? So these are written by really, for the first time, sumama sila sa Virgin Labfest, and some of them have written plays for the first time. And si Daryl Passion wrote Papaano Turuan ng Babae Humawak ng Baril, and it's set in a militarized zone where a Kafgu person is about to see his future na siya ay ipapain para patayin in a militarized situation. And so tinuturuan niya yung kanyang asawa kung papaano gamitin ang baril in a way I don't want to give out the to give out the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. Don't give the entire story. Just
Ayun.
just give
Basta
the theme.
the whole situation is yung dilema nitong as lalaki kung paano niya tuturuan yung kanyang asawa na humawak ng baril. So yon, yung pilot episode naman, I think it's a semi-autobiographical chronicle of a person who is bipolar. So it's a very focused on the mental health issue, undergoing an episode. Kaya ang title ay pilot episode. And how his parents are really trying at that particular moment to save the situation. So, ganun yung mga klase ng plays. We have a variety of plays. We have plays on LGBTQ. We have plays on the network shutdown. We have plays on, and so many other things like the LUMADs, situation, etc. So, mas varied ngayong taon na ito.
And you have other events coming up, di ba? Yung mga playwright workshops. Tuloy-tuloy pa ba yun?
Yes.
Tuloy-tuloy yun. So you have a fellowship, writing fellowship. So kung gustong panoorin tong dalawang to, how do people go about it? Kasi medyo marami pa rin low-tech sa atin, ano? Kung may gustong manood yung dalawang binanggit nating plays, how do they go about it?
Nikki?
Kasi
Nagdi-delay kasi si Ma'am Nikki eh.
Nikki, go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah. Nagdi-delay siya eh. Hindi yata tayo naririnig. So, Mr. Vera na lang, again. Sorry,
Okay.
Mr. Vera.
Yung mga live, ay,
Yan na.
kasi you mentioned the writing fellowship. The
Rody na
Labfest,
lang. Ay, Rody, where can people go? Do
sorry.
you have a Facebook page, a website? Where can
Okay.
people go to know?
The Labfest kasi is not just about performances. Meron din kaming educational.
Yeah,
Oh, sige. May delay. It's okay. It's okay.
may delay talaga eh. So, yung gustong manood ng
Ay.
dalawa, paano na lang?
yung dalawa of the 15, we actually have 18 plays, and
Yes.
they are all premiered at the Cultural Center of the Philippines Facebook page.
Yeah.
At regularly from June 10 hanggang hanggang June 14, the live shows are 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. So meron kayong mapapanood at any of those times every day hanggang June 14. After which, lahat ng ito ay pupunta sa Vimeo on demand where you can watch the recorded versions at your convenience at any time. Okay? So, bukod doon, meron ding Playwrights Fair. Yung Playwrights Fair are actually playwrights talking about so many different topics based on their experience or a panel discussion about a certain topic. And we have like 10 sessions all throughout. Also, doon sa naka-distribute yan sa schedules at any time. But usually, it's at 8 p.m. para mas prime yung time na ibinibigay. Merong mga pagkakataon na nagsasabay yung performance at saka yung playwrights session, no? So those are two. Bukod doon, meron ding mga collab discussions na nangyayari na mapapanood niyo rin doon sa Facebook page. At ano yon, iba naman yon, mga 2 p.m. Yung schedules niya. So all of that, if you want to get all the information, it will be for sure at the Cultural Center of the Philippines Facebook page. At lahat ng mga recorded performances ay nandoon sa Vimeo on demand. Just click on the Virgin Labfest.
May bayad yung video on demand, ano? Yung premiere lang ang free?
Yes. Yung premiere, pag nag-live siya ng premiere, it will be staying there on that page for 24 hours and then lilipat na siya sa Vimeo on demand. Sa Vimeo on demand, there are two prices. Ano? Yung 100 pesos, where you get to see all the shows, all the performances. Yung 200 pesos, you get to see all the shows plus interviews and discussions on how they made each production. So, mas marami kayong makikita at mapapanood. At a very
Yun ang sulit, isang daang piso, only watching ka na.
only watching ka for the duration of the festival.
You think this way of presenting plays will be sustained beyond the pandemic? Kasi yun na nga sabi namin, it's looking like a new art form eh. Masusustain kaya siya beyond these quarantines?
You know, it's giving us ideas, kasi ngayon lang namin na-try out at nakikita namin yung reaction ng mga tao. Ang ganda, and sabi ko nga kay Chris Miliado, who's the artistic director of CCT,
nice.
we can actually do this even in the new normal. Kapag nagpalabas tayo on stage, mapapalabas siya, kunan natin, and then after the festival, we can extend the festival online. And we can offer all these shows para doon sa mga taong and then right now, we're also subtitling all the shows para hindi lang mga Pilipino ang makakanood, kundi buong mundo, naka-subtitle siya. We have actually gotten a grant from Japan Foundation to subtitle all the performances.
Well, this is a very exciting development.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we've run out of time. Anyway, we'd like to thank Mr. Rody Vera and Nikki Torres of Virgin Labfest. Good luck on your project at manood po tayong lahat. Bukas po yung yung dalawang show.
Yung dalawa.
Site ng Cultural Center of the Philippines. Thank you po. Thank you for joining
Thank you very much din for having us.
Salamat po.
Yes.
Kapit lang po, kapit.
Kapit.
Nawala po si Miss Torres. Thank you.
Hindi nakakapit na. Laglag.
Hindi nakakapit. Baka tinawag ng asawa. Yung asawa niya, dating reporter si Victores eh. Dating reporter sa MPD.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sabay ko sa MPD yan eh. Nung Western Police District pa siya.
Nagsusulat din ng play si Vic.
Okay. Ganun ba? Sige.
Okay sir, maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din.
Maraming salamat po.
Okay, that's a wrap for tonight. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. So, okay na tayo. Happy weekend sa inyo and happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day sa atin lahat.
Okay, 3 araw na lang.
Oo nga.
Lunes na. Okay, that will be all for this edition of The Cheese. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. I'm Edwin of One News.
I'm Mami Paminton of the Philippine Star.
I'm Robbie Alampay and we are One News.